What's up troops, it's me TheTacticalBrit and I'm here today with a brand new lore video, and today we're going to be looking at the Red Baron. Now in my previous video we looked at the Harlem Hellfighters, which were part of a pre-order bonus for Battlefield 1. Similarly, the Red Baron is also another pre-order bonus, and today we're going to be looking at exactly who this person is, what they achieved during the World War, and of course what other interesting facts and statistics that surround them. Now, as always with these lore / backstory videos, I'm no historian and I'm not some kind of omniscient narrator, so of course I've gone on the internet, done a bit of research and compiled what I think is some interesting facts and evidence, but of course there's always going to be a lot more surrounding this one individual in history, and I do strongly encourage that you read around this, but treat this as a summarized version that I've compiled with you, and just an idea of what this person was about, and what you might be able to look forward to in the DLC. So who exactly was the Red Baron? Well, the Red Baron is more formally known as Manfred Richthofen, and he was a German fighter pilot with the Imperial German Army Air Service during the First World War. He is considered to be the ace of all aces during the war, officially credited with 80 air combat victories, and roughly give or take between the region of 65 and 80 confirmed kills. He was recognised as a German war hero and regularly used in propaganda to boost morale across the European fronts. So let's dive into some backstory about who this person was and of course some of their most famous battles and achievements. Now, originally he was actually a cavalryman after being rejected to join the army because he was too short. He was actually 5'5" and there was a limit, but as the war dragged on he eventually got in and he was used in the trenches, and he felt that his role was somewhat mediocre. When he applied to the Imperial German Army Air Service, he is supposed to have written in his application for transfer, "I have not gone to war in order to collect cheese and eggs, but for another purpose." In spite of his very unmilitary attitude, and to his own surprise apparently, his request was granted and he joined the flying service at the end of May 1915 and took his first solo flight only after 24 hours of training on October 10th, 1915. Richthofen claims that between October 1915 and the autumn of 1916, he had shot down between 6 and 10 aircrafts, although none of these could be completely confirmed. And in the autumn of 1916, he was transferred to the Eastern Front, where he met a man called Oswald Bolek. Now, Oswald Bolek was a German fighter ace, and he was looking for men to join his new squadron, the Jagdstaffel II. Now, these might not be pronounced 100% correctly, I'm not German, but that is roughly what I can see. Now, he asked Richthofen to join it and he was transferred back to France, and Richthofen officially had his first kill on September 17th, 1916, but like I say, he had claimed that he had taken down some before he had joined this group. In January 1917, after his 16th confirmed kill, Richthofen was awarded the Pour le Mérite, otherwise more formally known as the Blue Max. This is the highest military honour in Germany during World War I, and it was awarded to him after only 2 years of service, which is quite a short period of time. In that same month, he was given command of the Jagdstaffel 11, which eventually became known as the Flying Circus, or the Richthofen Circus, and he personally trained every pilot who flew in it in the art of aerial combat. It was as a squadron commander that he painted his first ever Albatros III red, and other members of his squadron were allowed to paint their aircraft as well. This was incredibly infamous, and one of the reasons he became known as the Red Baron, because that was his first paint choice. Eventually, there were entire aircraft squadrons across Germany who were painting their aircraft different colours in order to emulate Richthofen, and the infamous Red Baron became known through propaganda through his red plane, but eventually the rest of his squadron started painting theirs too, in order to avoid him being singled out as the squadron leader and shot down. They didn't want their leader being identified in aerial combat, because that means he would become prioritised in battle. The value of his group, the Jagdstaffel 11, became apparent in April 1917, otherwise more formally known as Bloody April for the Royal Flying Corps, when Richthofen alone shot down 22 aircraft. In June 1917, he was given his own wing that comprised of 4 Jagdstaffels. They became highly mobile and were expected to operate at any point on the Western Front with minimal notice. Richthofen was badly wounded during one aerial engagement on July 6th, and recovery from his injuries kept him out of fighting for 4 weeks whilst healing. Now Richthofen was actually pressured into writing an autobiography in this time, which the government wanted to use for propaganda. When he finally released this, it was actually heavily used by the government and very much heavily censored as well. They didn't want any negative references of the World War I effort, because they knew that by 1917, when things domestically were getting pretty tight in Germany in terms of food supplies and money, they were aware that soldiers were also starting to recognise that the tide was not in their favour and they were losing battles. So it was kept very positive and very much altered by the government. After racking up 80 confirmed kills, Manfred Richthofen was killed on April 21st, 1918. During combat, a single .303 caliber bullet hit Richthofen, and he managed to land his aircraft the Fokker Dr. 1 safely in Allied territory, but the bullet had done fatal damage to his heart and lungs, and he died soon after Australian troops found him in his aircraft. He was buried with full military honours in the cemetery of the village of Bertangles near Amiens. Now today there is still mystery as to who killed him. The British RAF credited their pilot Arthur Roy Brown, but it's now generally agreed that he was shot down from the ground. A documentary was even made by the British Channel 4, claiming in 2015 that Sergeant Cedric Popkin, who was an AA gunner with the Australian 24th Machine Company, was the most likely person to kill him using a Vickers gun. However, since then, 4 other people and 3 other groups have also claimed that they fired the shot that took down the infamous Red Baron. So, that's the brief history for him, but there are also some fun facts as well that I want to throw in. Richthofen is traditionally associated with the Fokker Dr. 1, but he actually only flew this aircraft for a short time. Only 19 of his 80 kills were made in this triplane, and he scored most of his kills in variants of the Albatros, either the Albatros 2 or the Albatros 3. Richthofen also occasionally flew an Albatros 4. The 2 gave him more speed but less agility, but the 3 was more agile but slower than the 2. The first aircraft he painted red, however, was the Albatros 3, which is one of the most infamous recognised pieces of propaganda across Germany. Now during his time as training people as pilots, typically Richthofen actually explained his attack method. He said that he attacked people by diving on an aircraft when the sun was behind him. This tactic gave him both a height and visual advantage, and when he attacked he expected other pilots from his squadron to protect his rear and sides. For every confirmed kill that Richthofen got, he made a silver cup by a jeweler in Berlin. Each cup had the date of the kill on it and the aircraft that was shot down, and Richthofen had 60 of these, but stopped using it as a form of celebration when there was a silver shortage in Germany. So guys, that's it for the short history of the Red Baron, who was the biggest German ace during World War I. It's likely that we may see an Albatros variant of his aircraft included in Battlefield 1, however there are no guarantees as to what that might be right now. And I think it's very interesting as well that we're going to be seeing all kinds of factions and things going on in this game, especially around different war heroes and different things that are going on as well. It's really interesting doing these lore and history videos because you can really delve into the history of World War I, which is often overshadowed by World War II. You might have even catched a glimpse of the Red Baron in the Battlefield trailer that was released, as there is a small segment showing a red plane, which very much looks like an Albatros 3. So fellas, that's it for today's video. Please do leave a like down below, and of course subscribe if you're new around here if you enjoyed what you watched today, and please leave in the comment section too your thoughts and opinions on the Albatros 3, your thoughts and opinions on Richthofen and what he achieved, and of course if you have any interesting information surrounding the World War I era, or perhaps any suggestions on some lore videos that I should do, feel free to leave them below, and of course I will do some research, and as always please do read around what you're seeing here today. It's been me, TheTacticalBrit, and as always, thank you for watching.